Internet friends, let's begin. We're going to talk about this news article. Edward Snowden, most wanted fugitive, addresses Israeli panel. How interesting. And we're going to talk briefly about this, and then we're going to talk about the questions that Edward Snowden won't ask or be asked about Israel. This is just a brief. The video is now back on track. I'm not doing a whole video. I'm doing by sections. The next one will be on the Bird Foundation, the Bionational Industrial Research and Development Foundation, and you're going to learn how bad it is. But look, once everyone faces it, God can fix it, or whoever you believe, the divine universe, the grand architect, or whatever floats your boat. I just prefer to call it God. I am a Christian, by the way. But with my own twist, I like to think for myself. See, I've gone off track. I'm terrible. I had this all set out, and already I'm drifting off on a pattern. Man, it's frustrating. Really frustrating. Anyway, I want to give you a lowdown of how bad it is, because once you realize how bad it is, you might be able to do something about it. I'm also going to go after people as well, because I'm under pressure. I just lost the internet connection again. Someone's not happy about what we're going to talk about. My friend Diane, who's doing a lot of research for me and putting it into a little package, is just flabbergasted by what she's finding. It's worse than what you know. Basically, it's what everyone sort of talks about, that Israel has taken over the United States. Yes, but we're actually going to tell you how they've actually done it via legislation. And you're just going to go, what? How could this happen? How could this happen? It's called infiltration by communists. We call them communists. All right? Communists is just simply the banking house of Rothschild funding people who call themselves communists to centralize command and control. So once we get the definition of communism, which is not to liberate the proletariat, the working class, from the oppressive owners, okay, it's nothing to do with that. It's about using people's goodwill, as Marx wrote, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. So it sounds great. And so people naturally go for it. Why wouldn't you? When we see the crap going on in the world, people getting pursued by the IRS and billionaires not paying any tax, of course we get angry. Of course we know it's all rigged. It's a rigged system. It's socialism for the rich and it's free markets for the poor. We understand that. The point is that once we get the principle, communism is a particular Jewish bank of Rothschild centralized command and control system. To remember, in the previous video I did some time ago, or recently, sorry, this one, how Israel rules, with the clover leaf. Do you remember the clover leaf? Making Israel the center of world trade, which is what's happening in Greater Israel, and it's been planned for a very long time. I'm watching you, Task Manager. Oh, I'm watching you. They're getting a bit antsy. They crashed my firewall app on my phones. It's done a lot of things that have never been done before. Anyway, I'm trying not to get distracted. Let's go back to this. Edward Snowden, most wanted fugitive, addresses Israeli panel. How interesting. Is Edward getting ready to head to Israel? Snowden will speak on Israel-related issues from his secret hideaway in Russia. He's in his secret bunker. And an event organised by the Israeli media consultancy firm OH, which is Ornstein and Hoshen, two friendly people. And this is October the 10th, 2010. The infamous whistleblower who leaked classified NSA information in 2013 will speak via video conference to an Israeli audience at a closed event. It's going to be a closed event on November 6th, according to a statement released on Wednesday. How nice. Snowden will speak on Israeli-related issues from his secret hideaway in Russia, an event, blah, blah, blah. You can go and read this if you like. So Hedan Orenstein and Itamar Hoshen said, our firm is engaged in advising clients in the realm of economics, law, technology and high-tech. And these are exactly the fields in which Snowden is involved. Snowden is a fascinating figure because his actions are so controversial. Except he just doesn't mention Israel, but that's okay. The audience will hear, can ask tough questions. Oh, I'm sure they'll be real tough. And people can work out their own opinions. Anyway, sorry. Snowden was working for a private contractor, as he was Booz Allen Hamilton, whose 2IC was none other than, can we find him? Rabbi Dov Zakheim, an Orthodox rabbi. That's the guy who lost $2.8 trillion when he was the Pentagon accountant or comptroller, remember? They announced the loss on September the 10th, 2001, and the next day the big buildings fell down. And when World Trade Center 7, where a lot of paperwork was held, and the Pentagon got hit in a certain place. And we're going to talk about the Pentagon budget soon too. So Rabbi Dov Zakheim, 2IC at Booz Allen Hamilton, where good old Edward Snowden used to work. Anyway, the leak unveiled the first time the existence of post 9/11 powerful and invasive global surveillance programs. Many run by the NSA, which is run by Israel. Or they use all subcontractor companies, and guess who we find? We'll talk about that. With the cooperation of European governments, evil European governments, and telecommunication companies, including Google, Microsoft, and Verizon, who are all run by Israel. Wait for it. Some of the programs were discontinued, while others were continued, but with higher levels of regulation. Yeah, they're just like they're regulating my laptops right now. Oh, I'm trying not to be sarcastic, but fuck it. In February 2015, a classified document leaked by Snowden revealed information about the cooperative intelligence gathering efforts of the US, UK and Israel against Iranian targets. Other previous Snowden documents revealed a number of details of the inner workings of the intelligence relationship between the US and Israel and with other members of the Five Eyes in general, which also includes Australia, Canada, New Zealand and England. Blah, blah, blah. These previous links, mostly in 2013, related to the NSA eavesdropping on some top Israeli officials and possible Israeli cooperation with the NSA to eavesdrop on other mutual allies of the two countries. Other revelation indicated that the NSA may have greater authority to check communications with US citizens living in foreign countries, such as Israel. While yet another revealed that the US may sometimes cooperate with Unit 8200, which is an Israeli military version of the NSA, to review metadata on behalf of the NSA that the NSA cannot itself review under US law. Now, if you didn't know, there was a big hoo-ha that came out because the NSA was dumping raw data into Israel of all the particulars of American citizens. He remains one of the most wanted fugitives. He's both vilified as a traitor, blah, blah, blah. This one is actually more interesting. Hey, where'd it go? There's one by... I just had to do it, didn't I? Okay, there's a better one. It was actually by the Jerusalem business thingy. Anyway. That's really frustrating because the other one, business, was much better. Anyway, they threatened the death penalty. Whatever, we can talk forever. What I wanted to go into now is this sort of innocence. Israel, little Israel. Oh God! Now, if you've been up and around, please watch Israel's Secret Weapon, the Telpiot program. Please watch it. It's one of my videos I did. I rushed it. Took me 4 days, and I got the hell hacked out of me. I mean, if it wasn't for the skills I've developed over time, we call it Axe IT. I just go in with a Linux thumb drive over the top and just delete whole sections of the operating system. Whilst checking to see if it's stable. It took me weeks to get back on board. After I posted that, 3 days later, I was trying to complete Israeli drones worldwide, this particular video, and it was hell. What was going to take 5 days took nearly 4 weeks. I was hacked by arc.microsoft.com. They restarted services on my other video editing laptop, did all sorts of things to me, and I have the logs. I complained, and I then was in contact with Proton Mail technicians, and suddenly it stopped. I could talk for hours. Right, let's go back. I want you to remember all this stuff now. There's at least 12 Intel CPU flaws now. 12, count them. 10, 12. And I mean, I love some of the processes they test in this DEF CON conference. One of them is called Nehemiah. Nehemiah is a prophet of the Old Testament, of course. But we'll know if you have watched some of my videos. The Intel Management System, I did a video. Let's just watch a very quick... a lot of you have already seen this, but let's, for people who haven't watched it, there's a lot of new subscribers now.
What is the Intel Management System and why should you care? What is the ARC processor, jointly developed by Goldman Sachs and others for the Internet of Things? The combination of these technologies results in the crown jewel of the hardware facet of the worldwide Talmudic Telpiot takeover program, or TOP for short. This Talmudic technological takeover is part hardware and software, but also people, placing them in key positions around the world. It's a fully integrated combination flesh and blood backdoor, or FAB, into the world's high-tech infrastructure, which includes the emerging Smart Cities program combined with the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. But the crown jewel of the Telpiot program is the ARC processor that sits within the Intel Management System, a CPU sitting physically within the Intel CPU with its own fully functioning Linux-based operating system, completely transparent to the Windows, Apple or Linux-based operating system functioning at the user level. This is the ultimate backdoor of backdoors, and it was designed and fabricated in Israel as the basis of the new Core series of Intel CPUs, integrated between 2006 and 2008. These are the same CPUs that all server farms all over the world use. Every Google server farm, Facebook, corporate, public and private. The NSA insisted on a patch that could switch off the Intel Management System for sensitive systems. No such luck for us mere mortal. The Intel Management Engine cannot be switched off and is a wide open hardware backdoor for Israel to get into any and all computer systems around the world. If you think the AMD line of CPUs are a safe option, think again. They have the platform security processor and it has the exact same problems. Besides, AMD, once a joint operation between Texas Instruments and the Chinese government, is now virtually wholly owned and controlled by China. The ARC processor is tiny and its multiple formats. It is filling the Internet of Things, from light bulbs to self-driving cars to robots, you name it. Think about it. Think about the power this gives the Israeli state and this Talmudic technological takeover.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Luke. I have to give a shout out to Luke. Luke McGee, a total lunatic. He's in Vietnam. Still bad mouthing me. Complete nutcase. Done fantastic work on pedophile rings. Spoilt it with his idiocy and lunacy and crap. Talking about me. Unbelievable. I'm not going to keep it positive. You got to understand, I'm a negative person. I love to just get in your face and headbutt you. So just deal with it. This is the way I am. I'm never going to be a high different. It's just not me. I've given up. Given up. It saps my energy. I'm nasty. I'm mean. I'm rude. I'm in your face. And you know what? That's how people like me. And you know what? It's my natural way. It's my natural way. Mainly because a lot of this information is not being pushed by anyone else. That puts me in a lot of danger physically. And I'm getting hacked all the time. If 20 of these internet gurus would start talking about this, what have we got? Mike Herzog changed everything for me when he came on board. Thomas Lakarova Stewart of RBN came on board, got it straight away. Jeff Rentz, of course, thank you. The Eddie Man UFO man, yeah, he is, but I thank him. He got it out there and started it running, and a lot of things changed. But the gurus are still refusing to acknowledge this stuff, and that makes me very angry. It puts me at risk. I'm in Malaysia. China's involved in this. Let me tell you, when you start taking on China from Malaysia, you're in deep trouble, because Malaysia is totally infiltrated by China. I've been warned repeatedly. So that's why I'm anxious and upset and pissed off. Because if 20 of you gurus started pushing this, not, I talked about it for 10 seconds last week. That's why I'm angry. Yeah, it's shameful. These disgusting little creatures, including people like Alex Jones. Anyway, you watch that. Now that you've seen this ARC process, I want to watch it. Now, someone sent me some stuff. I actually think it was Jim Stone. Now, Jim Stone is a strange character. He's one of those people that will do something brilliantly and then do something really badly. Whatever. I don't want to get into a discussion about him. But I'm pretty sure it's Jim Stone. Jim, I actually was onto this, and it was going to be part of my video. But I do thank you for sending it regardless. Now, I'm going to give you this. You've got to go to DEF CON. I've shown you Mudge and stuff and Richard Thiem before. Man, there's so much info here. It should be front page news. Just sits there. And so this is from Black Hat, but DEF CON talks about it too. This guy went and actually looked up all the patents, and he shows the backdoors they're finding in Intel were planned. They're in the patents. So listen very carefully. He's going to talk about, see, this activates the RISC core. So he actually finds a global configuration register, right? It's exposed to the x86 core, which is the CPU, your Intel CPU of choice. 8th generation, 7th, 6th, whatever, through a model-specific register. Now, that's very important to understand. And this activates the RISC core. That's the ARC processor we just talked about. And it was designed and fabricated in Israel. It was done in Israel, the Core 2, 2006, between 2006 and 2008. So just listen to what he says. It might be a bit over your head, but what he's going to explain to you is these things are a specific set of instructions that is actually in the patent. They're not flaws. They're not accidents. There's 12. There are now 12 official backdoor hardware flaws that give super user privileges or admin privileges to a remote attacker. This is catastrophic for the industry, not just for your local laptop like they're getting at me. That's definitely hardware. Backdoors are going into me. Arc.microsoft.com out of Hong Kong were doing it to me. It's not just that, it's the server farms. Massive corporations, they all use Intel processors. Do you read the significance? This should be front page. You've heard about China, right? It's not China. Well, China's doing it. It's Israel. I broke this story. They'll make a freaking movie one day. I'm asking you to trust me. They even named an NSA piece of malware after me. It's called Irate Monk. It's named after me. I was a monastic. I was going to be training as a monastic. Long story. Again, I'll give you the story. I'm working up to it. I'm getting organized. I've got my Jewish therapist out of New York helping me. You think I'm joking? No. I've already made great progress. God, my inner children. I had no idea. Anyway, God willing, I want to get into psychology and getting people motivated. Let's get out of this negativity. We can't do anything. We're helpless. That's for another show. Anyway, so this guy's going to give you, it's very short. I'm giving you a little extract. I know it's a bit geeky, but you'll get it. This guy is saying, here are the patents. This is front page news. They want it suppressed. It's catastrophic. I'll say it again. It's not bad, risky. That's not catastrophic. Especially when you combine that the military-industrial complex of the United States is handing their highest technology to Israel, which of course is handed to Russia and China, and it's being done in full view, and the internet gurus just not only ignore it, or they brush over it, they don't give you the fact that this is catastrophic. I broke this. That's what my case was about, why they came after me with this hate crime legislation, because I said that the police were going to raise this at the trial. You could go and read it. You could go and analyse the trial transcripts. They're all online, and I'll show you them later. You'll begin to understand why I'm in exile in Malaysia and why I went to Iran, and then you'll understand why Iran didn't want to touch this subject. Let's watch this.
Configuration register could activate the RISC core. They also talked about what was called a launch instruction. It would be a new instruction added to the x86 instruction set architecture, where once the RISC core was activated, you could use the launch instruction to start.
Remember the RISC core, and I may stop it. The RISC core is the ARC processor, so it's deeply embedded within the main Intel CPU with its own operating system, a miniaturized Linux-based operating system called Minix.
A sequence of RISC instructions. So where does that leave us? Well, this is all sort of wild speculation at this point.
So it's called the deeply embedded core. And it's not assumptions. It's pretty obvious.
Just piecing together little pieces of different patents. But if our assumptions about this deeply embedded core are correct, that means it could be used as sort of a backdoor, a means of surreptitiously circumventing all of the processor security checks. So that's obviously something worth diving into a lot further. So let's start.
That's the understatement. This might be something worth diving into, mate. Understatement.
How would we go about activating this circumvention mechanism? Well, there's three little tidbits from the various patents I was able to pick up on that might point us in the right direction here. We've got one patent that says a model-specific register can be used to circumvent processor security.
Right, so now he's naming patents. So what he's saying is, this is not an accident. Oh my God, it's a flaw. Okay, silly billies, Shlomo Moshe, come over here. Oh, sorry, boss, I was disseminating flat Earth propaganda at the time, and for the stupid Goy, and then I accidentally put this flaw into the new Core 2 series of processors. What he's saying is, no, this won't no accident. We know that anyway. He's saying, here is the patent, US 8341419, a model-specific register that can be used to circumvent processor security checks. That's what he's telling you. This is huge. Front page. Scandal. Senate hearings committees. You name it. I cannot emphasize enough how big this is.
Security checks. We've got another patent that says a model-specific register can be used to activate a new instruction in x86. And we've got a third patent that suggests that a launch instruction can be used to switch to a RISC instruction sequence. So if you put these three things together and sort of fill in the gaps, it sounds like there's some model-specific register bit that enables a new x86 instruction that activates a RISC core that can bypass the processor security checks. So let's start with the first step in that chain, this model-specific instruction.
Let's go back to that. So, in case you missed the gobbledygook, it's an MSR bit, so it's a bit of code which he actually shows. I think he puts the code in and bypasses and gets root. So he gets full administrator control privileges at the hardware level over the remote computer. So it enables an Intel core instruction. So it's a core instruction within the Intel processor. It activates a RISC core. RISC is reduced instruction set computing. That's a tiny little processor that's going into the Internet of Things. They're putting them in light bulbs, in your washing machines, in your self-driving car, in your robots, in your drones. You getting it? Okay, so it's just a RISC core. So it's just another type of CPU. In fact, in your phones, your mobile phones, they're generally RISC chips. Okay, very, very lightweight and very, don't get too hot. But it's a tiny little RISC processor within the Intel core, and it can bypass all of the main Intel CPU protections. That's what he's saying is it's security catastrophe, i.e. no security. And who put it in? The only thing he won't say is it was Moshe and Shlomo in Israel. Last name Bogdanovich, because they're all Russians. The arch enemy of the United States, officially right now, Russia, has their hands on the most advanced Intel design and fabrication factory in the world, which sends out the latest CPUs to corporations all over the world and individual users and businesses, which have Israeli designed and implemented hardware backdoors. The majority of the technicians are Russian. And we've already seen in previous shows that Israel is practically run by Russians, and we get a lot of information out of the Israeli press who is screaming. Jews are exposing this. American Jews in America are screaming about this. All the geeks, half of them are Jewish, all right? They are screaming about this. Sandra Tron was an American Jew researcher at MIT in Jet Propulsion Laboratories, exposed an Israeli spy. Okay, we get it. A lot of people giving me the information are Jews. So do we understand? It's Israel and Russians right now who are also then handing it to China. Now we have the Space Command that their boy Donald Trump wants. I hate Hillary Clinton equally as much, but Donald Trump, what do you want me to say? He's a Russian asset. I'm sorry if this upsets you. You're just going to have to get used to it. And you better hope Jim Mattis does represent the interests of the military-industrial complex and is going to stop this going on. We hope. Anyway, let's keep going.
Activates a RISC core that can bypass the processor security checks. So let's start with the first step in that chain, this model-specific register. So just a little bit of background for people not familiar with the idea of MSRs on x86. So MSRs are 64-bit control registers, and they're really, really varied. They're used for things like debugging and performance monitoring and cache configuration and feature configuration. Basically, anything not directly related to computation can be tossed into the MSRs on x86. And unlike the registers, you might be...
Right, that'll do. You get it. What he's saying is, not only are the flaws there and the backdoors there, or he's saying he's using very discreet language. Well, maybe this is very interesting. We should look into this. And he's probably been instructed. He probably works for DARPA. I didn't look up his specifics, but let's just talk about this quietly before everyone finds out. We need to act on this very urgently. Your cryptocurrencies. Now you're going to see stuff about Israel running everything from Bill Gates. They wrote the code for Windows 10. Oh, great. So they've got you on the software and the hardware. Do you realize how bad this is? Do you understand why I'm screaming and the pressure I've been under, why I was hounded and why I was harassed? That's why I'm cranky. Microsoft, Bill Gates. Israel is a vital resource for us. Expressing confidence in the future of Israeli technology, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates said that his company will expand its investment in Israel in the future. Oh, you bet he is. We are investing and continuing to invest in our research and development in Israel. Our team in Israel has recently been handed with some challenging and ambitious tasks. Oh, I bet they are. They are working with new developments, particularly in the field of digital security. In this area, Israel has an impressive record, read between the lines, of accomplishments, read between the lines, Gates said. Gates made his remarks to the Hebrew daily Yidot Ha'am at the Comdex convention in Las Vegas held in November. Microsoft has a history of investing in Israeli brown power. Microsoft Israel, founded in 1989, is one of the few Microsoft outposts abroad fully owned and operated by the US company. The Microsoft Research and Development Center in Haifa is one of a small group of overseas centers involved in developing new products for the US-based company. Gates said that despite the political and security situation, Israel continues to represent the leading edge of innovation, and Microsoft will continue to be a part of it. There is no connection between the war that Israel is fighting and the future of the technology that is being created there, he said. The vast success of Israel is connected to the excellence of its population. Garbage. I'll tell you why it's excellent in a minute. By this I mean the level and quality of the education that is being acquired in Israeli universities, garbage, and the knowledge that the immigrants, listen to this bit, and the knowledge that the immigrants coming to Israel bring with them. What, immigrants from Yemen? They've all got electrical engineering degrees? Russia. Because of these factors, Israel has become a place in which the biggest technology companies recruited high-tech brilliance. But since many of these Israelis wanted to stay in their country, we had to open large research and development centers in Israel. Of course, all the employees said, Bill, in the hallway, Bill, please, come. Listen, we're brilliant. We're fucking awesome. You need us. You need us. We want the fucking center in Tel Aviv now, in Haifa. And Bill went, oh, okay. Yes, we really need you. Are you fucking kidding me? Give me a fucking break. He said while the company is always concerned about the welfare of its employees, security concerns won't stop us from deepening our activities in Israel. James Corbett going to tell you about this? Yeah. Israel 21C is a full-blown Telpiot company. They hacked the shit out of me. I made one visit. They went through my firewall. It's the best firewall, and I have it set up rock solid tight. I've asked hackers, man, and they said, no, that's one of the hardest. Semantic endpoint. Forget semantic, it's crap, but endpoint is the corporate business enterprise level, man. They just went straight through it. Just filled up my hard drive. Lucky imaging software, I was able to do it, and I recorded the whole thing. That's one thing I do. I record. Listen to this. Bill Gates, Israeli tech changing the world. In video called the Microsoft annual Big Bash, co-founder says he's very impressed with Israel's R&D. You're going to read between the lines here. Who's the boss in that video? Who's the boss? Slightly psychotic Bill Gates, fellow Scorpio. Trust me, psychotic. A special guest at Times of Israel. I'll tell you, all the best stuff's out of Israel. They're all screaming, man. They know there's a problem, and they know they're going to get their ass kicked when the American taxpayers find out. A special guest virtually joined over 2,000 people at the Microsoft Israel R&D Center's annual Think Next event in Tel Aviv Thursday. The man who started it all, Bill Gates. And remember, this is the 25th of February 2016. So that's two and a half years ago. In a rare public comment on the value of Microsoft Israel's work in helping make the company what it is, Gates said that Israeli developments, tech areas like analytics and security were improving the world. Well, you poor Bitcoin people, wait till you cop it. This year marked the 8th Think Next event where MS shows of its best and brightest new technologies, many developed in Israel. Gates doesn't call in every year, but this year being the 25th anniversary of the Microsoft Israel Research and Development Center, he told the Tel Aviv audience in a video call from the US that he was very happy to wish the R&D Center a happy birthday. Do you see the tie-in with Trump's coming in? All these people they all ran to Israel around 2016. Where's all the pedophile stories? Did you see them pop up? And they're gone now. Why? That was all Israel putting out because their network was starting to get a bit antsy. Few sacrifices, a few Weinsteins went down. It's like, hey everyone, hello, just remember who your fucking boss is. And that includes Roger Stone and Alex Jones. We'll get to that. The centre, he said, started in 1991 when some of the Israeli engineers at Microsoft wanted to return home but continue working at Microsoft. We decided to open the centre. It was one of our first ones outside the US, and I think the technology they've produced over the years more than justifies our decision. Yeah, TLPR program, Unit 8200, the bird, wait for it. Speaking live at the event, current Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella met Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier Thursday to discuss cybersecurity and other matters. In the meeting, Nadella noted Microsoft's commitment to Israel, its investments in the local market and its commitment to the continued growth of the high-tech and innovation industry in Israel, which finds expression in assistance programs for startups, introducing advanced technologies to all sectors of the economy, promoting science and technology and education in computers and mathematics, the Prime Minister's office says. Wait for it. According to the General Manager of Microsoft Israel's R&D Centre, the Think Next conference reflects the ability of creative technologies to reinvent entire industries, including health. Remember all these things. Health, agriculture, big one. Communications and transportation. The new experiences offered to users are a tremendous springboard for businesses and is changing the economy and the lives of millions. Now get this, you're going to start connecting the dots. Let's just remember, Edward Snowden's running over there to give a closed meeting. It's closed, only special people. I wonder what he's going to talk about. Think Next itself was one of those projects exported by Microsoft to Israel. First organised in Israel, the tech showcase is now duplicated by the company in India, China, and the US. All right? They do it in Israel first, then they bring it to the US. This event is held in the framework of Microsoft's effort to promote high-tech in Israel, and especially in the startup sector where Microsoft holds various promotion and cooperation activities. One thing that Microsoft is very proud of, said Zach Weisfeld, who heads Microsoft Ventures, the company's startup accelerator, is that in 4 years we have beat Ventures into the world's biggest and most successful corporate accelerator. Since we started the program in Israel in 2012, Microsoft has opened 6 additional Ventures accelerators around the world. I'm looking for the best bit. And here is the best bit. While Microsoft is known for many things, it is best known for Windows, and for years rumours have swirled that major parts of the operating system were developed in Israel. Of course it was. Something the company has confirmed, although it has never specified just which components of Windows are Israeli. I can guess, trusted installer. They don't need the NSA. The Microsoft servers just shoved the malware in. The whole thing's malware. Gates, who does know, wasn't telling either, but he was very happy. Now, why wouldn't you tell? Tell us which part. He was very happy to wish the Microsoft Israel R&D Centre a happy 25th anniversary. Well, well, well. boy, you got to watch my stuff. I wish I could tell you there was 10 other people you could watch, but there's no one doing it. There's a few bits and pieces here and there. If you want to understand the full implications, you need to watch Israel's secret weapon, the Telpiot program. You need to watch Israeli drones worldwide. You need to watch Alex Jones admits Trump a product of army intelligence. I'm sorry. Look, my prediction is that Trump will do things that need to be done. But it's not because Trump's doing them. There's a counter coup. Under Mattis and parts of the military are getting back control to a point. We'll see how it goes. Watch very carefully, but stop thinking Donald Trump. He's a pure 100% Israeli first operation with the Sheldon Adelson, Bronfman gang, the mega group. When you watch the video, when it comes out, it'll be 2 weeks away. When you watch that video, you will see the links with Jonathan Pollard. And remember, they said Pollard was the worst thing ever. What's happening now is 1,000 times worse. And you know who you're hearing it from? It's not CBS, it's not James Corbett, it's not MSNBC, it's me. That's right, Brendon O'Connell. I got this out there. That's why in 2010, if you didn't know, they bought the Israeli ambassador, Yuval Rodom, the Israeli deputy foreign minister, Danny Ayalon, the Australian foreign minister, Stephen Smith, and the entire Australian political class out against me personally. Watch Israel's secret weapon, the Telpiot program, and that will give you a taste. We'll give you a taste. What's it got now? 205,000 views. I could tell you a story about that video and what Google does. Apparently that one's getting pushed night and day. They're not pushing the others. Why? I don't go after Trump too much in that, but every time I go after Trump and Alex Jones, it's heavily suppressed. So I don't hear crap that Jones is under threat. Jones was going downhill like this. He was going down. All his Alexa stuff, he was just plummeting. Oh my God, he said, they're after me. You can still get his app on Android. Okay? His BB bot. It's a freaking BB bot. That's what that is. So now I think that's up around 2.8 million downloads. 2.8 million mobile phones have the BB Israeli bot, Alex Jones app on it. Oh, Joe. Just so you know. All right? It's garbage, the whole thing. And we can link certain people. Oh, wait till you see the video. Just wait till you see it. We can link lots of interesting people, including this guy. I want to show you something. So anyway, I've just given you a taste. I mean, the Israeli Lobby Archive, brilliant. The Institute for Research Middle Eastern Policy, brilliant. My God, what a source. The hearing committees where we had Senator Fulbright saying, yeah, we've got a problem with Israel, and then Kennedy was shot not long after. Joseph McCarthy, I'm sorry, Joseph McCarthy he was a bit over the top, but you're going to have to rehabilitate him. You really are. He was bang on. Bang on. And Jones, you know, through the grapevine, there's a few fearless friendship things being put out. But dude, when you fat, disgusting fuck, hooker using meth smoking piece of garbage, making 57 million a year while we fucking get hammered because you can't say Israel. You say fucking Israel and you do it fucking quick. I know you watch my videos. Remember when I said to Mike Herzog on the American Awakening, I said what needs to happen is Trump needs to see out his term, stabilise the economy, and then he needs to be put out to pasture with Bill Clinton on there. His friend, they're all friends, on his GPS sex offender tracking bracelet, and he can play golf. That's his reward. That's what I said. And you know what Alex Jones said 3 days later? He said, well, maybe Trump has to retire. Maybe he just has to be here one term, and at the end of the 4 years, he can retire and stabilise the economy. Words straight out of his mouth. I know he watches my stuff. Mike Herzog is hopefully going to be sitting next to Mike Adams at a recent conference. So I'll tell you what, you fat fuck, pumpkin-headed piece of shit, making $57 million fucking dollars a year with your whore wife. And you know, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't want to, that's nasty. I used to know I used to look after prostitutes, yeah. Seriously. I met a girl. She was on an unemployment benefit line. She admitted to me what her job was. And she says, you know, you're one of the few people I trust. Will you live in my house for me? You can live there rent-free. And all I want is someone around the house so I don't get stalked. And I just went, phew, bring it on. She became a very, very close and dear personal friend of mine. I'm sorry, I find the prostitutes, certainly, and the crooks, far safer, nicer, more trustworthy than the freaking police and a whole host of people. Thanks. Than a whole host of people. So I'm going to be nasty. I don't mean to be nasty. I'm sure Jones's high-class hooker wife, Erica Wolf, is a very nice person, despite the fact her high-level intelligence connections and his. But I've had enough of you, fat fuck. All right? You better start saying fucking Israel and start quick. Your friend BB, who you speak to personally, and your friend Sheldon Adelson, who you were visiting not long ago in Colorado. You better pull your fucking finger out, pumpkinhead. Everyone just despises you now. I mean, you just despise and Pachenik running interference. Remember 2016, Israel did 9/11, arrest Michael Chertoff, Dov Zakheim, straight out of the mouth of Dr. Steve Pachenik. Remember that, people? Now all of a sudden, Israel doesn't exist. Israel's got nothing to do with this. We've had enough. Fucking fat piece of shit. Look at it. 57. The audacity, I think he believes it, to say, I'm the tip of the spear. You got to hear him. I listen to him every day. It's painful. I had to go through a VPN to get his stuff now. They block me. They don't want me listening to his stuff because it's painful, but I pick up a lot of stuff that comes out of his mouth. He admits for 10 years. 10 years he was going to Hollywood. 4 years. Around 2008 on, getting paid $10,000 a trip to speaking roles to do, what do you call it? What do you call it when you go there to, audition? This is from his mouth only 2 months ago. And he said, yeah, this is all the pedophile stuff. They interviewed Seth Rogen's friends, which was probably a setup when he said, Seth Rogen talks about chicken and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Jones, that was about the height of all the pedophile stuff, which is just gone now because, the message got out there. BB said, this is a message to all you our fucking little pedophile rats. But Jones is saying, oh yeah, I was in Hollywood for 4 years there and I hated the place. I was getting it took him 4 years to work out he hated the place. That was when he was getting offered jobs with, a Fox News affiliated show and all the rest. But yeah, I saw these really young girls, clearly very young girls, serving as waitresses, dirty old men filling them up. And I said, we got to get out of here. Didn't call the police. Hanging with coke-addicted Charlie Sheen. Look, I don't want to hate Charlie Sheen, but, he's got severe problems with cocaine and underage girls. That's who Jones hangs around with. Jones keeps talking about hanging around with one of the Boeing engineers who developed the F-18. He was also a Hollywood producer and screenwriter, and hanging out with him, shooting with it's just some beautiful women there, and I'm a red-blooded male going through a divorce. A lot of beers there. Oh, there'd be, more than beers, wasn't there, Alex, you piece of crap. I'm the tip of the spear. I'm only making $57 million a year. You're the tip of the spear. We know what it's like to be the tip of the spear. You ain't making anyway. Look, I'm just talking about that guy. I wouldn't mind if he just knew he was a piece of garbage. But anyway, I'm hoping he'll come good because it's getting to the point where he just can't ignore it. And send us money, Alex. We're doing the dirty work for you. We're taking the shit. I suffer the anxiety. I'm sitting next to China, the dragon, with a Malaysian government that's totally infiltrated, with the one MDB scandal I dare not mention, the $1 billion whale, look it up, British writer, where Najib Razak and his thing, they missed $4.5 billion US went missing in total. 750 million US went through the Prime Minister's accounts. He didn't do it. It was Jolo, who's a Chinese intelligence asset. So Israel's working with China and was compromising the political class under Najib Razak. That's the former Prime Minister who Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has replaced. There's a huge scandal here. I wouldn't go near it. People said, if you want to die, Brendon, go and start talking about that. It's probably a little bit safer to talk about. Because Najib Razak was a greedy so-and-so, the usual, but he didn't try and flog all that money. It was passed through his accounts, possibly setting him up so China could get control of him. And a lot of it's come out, and Malcolm Turnbull, the former PM of Australia's son, was involved in it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Megan, what's her name, the Australian model, supermodel, can't remember her name. Diamonds, it involved that great movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, was financed, involves Dubai, scandal, man. China deeply involved, so we just have to work it out. So that's the pressure I'm under. So I'm asking you fucking clowns out there to please start talking about it. You start talking and stringing this together, takes the pressure off me, and I don't have to be so angry and so upset and looking over my shoulder and getting phone calls. Catch up at KLCC for lunch so they can give me my next set of warnings. I didn't go to the last ones. I don't want to go anymore. I love you guys, Barry, and you know who you are, but I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to get lectured. I don't want to see your fake letters where Dr. M supposedly got a letter from Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel, asking for assistance with counterterrorism. It looks like a fake to me. I get sidelined because it's like, God, the crap that goes on. I'll stop right there. But if you knew who I exchange information with, you'd truly be shocked. So anyway, I got sidetracked. But here's where it all lies. We're going to talk about the bird, the BIRD. You've heard me talk about it before, the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation. These bird online, it's got 998 views. I'm about to make it get a lot more. This is the secret to Israel's success. The Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation, and when I got onto Telpiot, Unit 8200, and the Israeli high technology, when I wrote those material to then head of counterterrorism, Inspector Barry Shelton in 2010, when I got this into a court case, high profile, very public, and was introducing this stuff into evidence, and they just went crazy. 18 months of harassment in the lead up to the trial, where I was jailed for 3 years in January of 2011, put into maximum security, beaten and bashed, untreated broken arms, cover-ups, you name it, the law, ministers threatened. Oh, God. It goes on and on and on. It's a movie, which is why very interesting people will talk to me, because they know it's true and they will talk to me. This is the bird. This is the secret to all that bragging that Israel does. We're so this, we're so that. It's communist Soviet-era infiltration of the whole country. Starting in 1870, getting going after the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. You saw the Bronfmans and all these big families come into the United States and Canada. The Sheldon Adelson descendants, the Rahm Emanuels, the David Axelrods, out of Chicago, Miami, New York, Leon Bronstein, Leon Trotsky out of New York. They all came out of New York. Work it out. You're going to see it. Let's watch the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation, and you will be amazed who sat on this board. They were all LACHEM. LACHEM was it was Israeli military intelligence, but it was a special technology hunting group. They hunted technology world over. And these people, the LACHEM, well, they all sat on the board of the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation. The Soviets basically set up the very legislative form mechanism to shove out it's law. It's not just an opinion or an agreement. It's law. It's this law here. The United States-Israel Energy Cooperation, the Public Health and Welfare, Energy Independence and Security, blah. You heard me talk about it with Thomas Larakova, Mike Herzog, and Jeff Renz. You're legislated, baby. That's why they're going after BDS. Sanction, boycott, divest. But they don't want to tell you about this law. Man, this is huge. It's the biggest story ever, like in the last 1,000 years. Man. Just thinking about it, my head spins. Let's go to the bird. I'll quickly show this. I love it. It's one of those trending, la 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 la. What it's saying is, and we're taking all your technology and fuck you. And you're going to drink fucking leaded water in Cleveland. And we're going to sip champagne in Tel Aviv, you bunch of fucking goy dumb fucks. That's what this is saying. And let me tell you one other thing. Why I'm pissed off that idiot Owen Schroyer and Adam Green. See this? That's Patrick Little. And I told Adam Green, stay away from that fucking idiot. And what did he do? Had him on the show. Jews rape kids. That's what we got, because you know what? It's breaking out and Jews are now helping us. Jews are coming to us. They've been coming to me for over 11 years. And they don't want it going on. That's why Patrick Little and his friends are going to get well funded. And eventually they're going to start smashing synagogue windows, because once they've set up Greater Israel and gone through Syria, which they're building up to right now, once they've gone to the Euphrates with their agreement with Iran, Iran is working with China, Russia and Israel for the Belt and Road Initiative. They're working with them. Do you understand that? You understand the grand chessboard geostrategy, Trilateral Commission, Zbigniew Brzezinski, and who was working with all those people? Henry Kissinger sitting, who was working? Dr. Steve Pachanik, Roger Stone. They're now sitting there with Alex Jones. You can't make this shit up. So that's why you're going to see Jews rape kids and that piece of garbage, Patrick Little. They're going to get funding. I'm going to be talking to Ariana, who's an activist, extensive contacts with Palestine, who lived in Palestine, has done incredible work. I'm going to be talking with her very soon. And we're going to show you who's backing, or strongly infer to you who's backing Patrick Little. Wait for that one. That's why I get angry at people. Stop trying to associate me with white nationalists, because that's what they want. We want Jews coming forward. We will protect you. They're going to be there for you. Trust me, there's huge amounts of us now. We get it. Where do you think all the information is coming? Coming out of Israel. It's coming out of the Israeli press. They're screaming, please help, please help, please help. We don't want to be a Soviet republic. We really much prefer America. Let's look at the bird. Are you ready? Basically what they're saying is, hi, we've come to rape you. We're going to do you right in the ass. And you're going to really like it. Hi, American taxpayers. So when you remember Dov Zakheim and your 2.8 trillion that disappeared, okay, remember that one? Remember the 5 trillion US dollars. Didn't disappear, it was transferred at the end of the housing bubble collapse. Who caused that? Goldman Sachs, and they're all now employed by the man who's going to clean the swamp. The President Trump is going to clean the swamp, and he's just employed all the people that created the swamp. When are you going to work it out? How's he going to bring an Apple factory back? You're going to be paying $15,000 for an iPhone X. Did you understand the bullshit that dribbles forth from Donald Trump's mouth? It's worse than bullshit. It's ridiculous. I can't stand that goblin Hillary Clinton and Podesta and their filthy, disgusting pedophile scumbags. They're all scumbags. They are simply the right and left arm of the same New York, New Jersey Israeli mob. Israeli-Russian mob. They're just two arms of it. Watch the bird. God. Man, if I was an American taxpayer, I'd be freaking out. Oh, I love this music.
In a world of no boundaries and endless possibilities, you know that 2 is better than 1. That persistence pays off, and that 1 should always...
Remember, if you're going to be raping someone, of course 2's better than 1. Hard to rape yourself. That's why 2's always better than 1. Watch, it's like, is this a joke? Is this a fucking joke? It's a fucking joke. Watch.
keep trying, even if there's risk involved.
What risk?
We know that with the right partner and reliable backing, the sky is truly the limit. You already have a brilliant idea and advanced technology.
Yes, Darla.
Now what you need is someone who can support your partnership and provide a framework for cooperation. You need someone who is open to your ideas and will share the risk.
Listen, Israel don't share risk. It just doesn't risk anything. You share the risk. That's why I laugh at this. I actually start getting twitches. Man, if I was an American taxpayer, if I was in the military, a colonel, I would be fucking I'd be getting my guns, boys. Saddle up.
BIRD was established by the U.S. and Israeli governments with an extensive network in both countries. BIRD connects potential partners, one from each country, initiating strategic partnerships.
Oh, yeah.
BIRD funds up to 50% of the combined R&D budget, up to $1 million per project. The funding is a conditional grant, and BIRD claims no equity nor IP.
Let me tell you what it's really about. It's just a structure. It's not about the money. It's a structure that they run stuff through. And this includes drug money laundering. All right? It's all sorts of stuff. Iran-Contra. These are the people who set up Iran-Contra, set this up. This was Israeli intelligence people. When this was set up in 79, signed in by Jimmy Carter, do you know who was there? Do you know who was there present when this was all signed for in 1979? Do you know who? Dr. Steve Pieczenik, Cyrus Vance and James Baker. Now you can't make this shit up. Steve Pieczenik, Council on Foreign Relations till 2013. Someone I really liked. As a man. I mean, the sitting on the board was Rafi Eitan, generals in Israeli military intelligence. Rafi Eitan's the most famous. He's the guy that stole Inslaw Promise software. Or, do you know what that became? That became Prism. All the backdoors into Microsoft. Are you connecting the dots? Microsoft, Apple, Yahoo, Google, all the big things that signed into Prism to giving full backdoor software and hardware into their stuff. Well, that was Promise, which was stolen by Rafi Eitan and backdoored by Israel. All involving the Department of Justice in America. Oh, connect some dots, baby. Wait for it.
Rights. Repayments are due if commercial revenues are generated as a result of the project. The United States and Israel have a common goal: to promote innovation and advanced technology for mutual benefit that creates economic and social impact in both countries and beyond. That is what BIRD is all about.
Oh, God, I feel like I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. Oh, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. Fucking hell. The audacity. The audacity. Hi. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bird energy, there's a bird energy. I mean, do you know that Israel's now got its gas fields opened up? No one wanted to actually drill it. They said it's a pointless waste of time. They drilled it anyway at huge expense. I bet you Israel never paid for it. And now they're going to be supplying electricity to Europe. How do you like them apples? See, they're transferring all this technology so Israel becomes self-sufficient in energy and self-sufficient in technology. And then they're going to be sharing it with China, and that's the plan. And that's Donald Trump's job. You see now where Trump, they're going to, because of the killing of the Saudi dissident, they're now talking about not supplying arms to Saudi. And well, they're saying, well, if you don't do that, they'll go and get it off Russia and China. Yeah, that's correct. That's the plan. That's Trump's job. His job is to retreat America back out of Europe, back out of Eurasia, back into the United States, where they'll handle North America, South America, and Australia, and the UK. It's INSOC. It's 1984. East Asia is not at war with West Asia. All right, that's what they're doing. They're setting up that beast system, putting in new players. It's too hard to deal with Americas, so they're going to develop the pan-Eurasian continent without the United States. They can't disarm the United States. There's too much rebellion going on in the United States. The United States people are now saying fuck Israel in louder and louder numbers. Ordinary people are getting onto it. So we said we'll go with the Russians because they're cruel, miserable bastards, and I have many Russian friends, but they're hard as nails. Right, the hardest now. Russia is run by organised crime. Literally, at least there's a degree of separation in the United States. In Russia, runs. Organised crime runs Russia because they're all Russian Israeli gangsters. That's what they are. So when you hear about Russiagate, Alex Jones is quite correct. There is no Russiagate. It's Israeli-gate with a bunch of Russians involved. That's what it's about. Oh, God, it's so big. It's such a big job, you have no idea. Look, the secret source of Israeli entrepreneurship. He's going to tell you it's
first of all, thank you for hosting me here.
There's another Israeli
in some ways
officer.
I have
it's in Tel Aviv. Anyway, he's going to go on and tell you all about
IDC
entrepreneurial career in 69, the age of 26. He was appointed Director General of the Ministry of Development. And the Bird, Binational Bird Foundation, he acted as an advisor to the Israeli mission to the UN. This all ties in then with the UN Habitat Program, Smart Cities, which Israel will be supplying the tech for, the Nome, the smart city they want to build in Saudi. They're gearing up to finally finish off Greater Israel, finish off Syria. Once they've done that, they're going to rebuild Syria. Who do you think is going to be supplying the tech? They're going to rewire all of Syria. That's the plan. That's why they're barrel bombing everything. When the US blows up a building, it's a crime. Oh my God, they're crying. Then they go, Putin's so good, he'll solve everything because Putin's wonderful. They've been barrel bombing. They tried to make a joke of it. Assad made a joke, barrel bomb, spoons, whatever. Are you kidding? They've been barrel bombing for 6 years now. Just dropping huge, 200 kilo, just in boom, one after the other. That's why all those houses are completely destroyed. That was Assad. And Russia. Russia could have ended ISIS like that. Only 13% of all attacks were against specific ISIS targets. The rest were against the legitimate Sunni resistance. They hate Assad. His whole family, even Assad said in 2008, we need to reform. He doesn't run Syria. Russia runs Syria. It's been running Syria for 50 plus years. The base there under the Soviet Union. That's who put them in power. The Soviets put Assad in power and maintained his power. And the Assads have been very good to Israel. They've never attacked Israel. They mind their own business. They were keeping Lebanon in line and killing Harari. They're a bunch of assholes. And I thought, God, do I have to argue this? Oh, he was duly elected and Assad is a Democrat. Are you fucking kidding me? Go and ask someone in Syria, can you walk into a Damascus thing and say with a placard, I don't like Assad, I want to vote him out, I'm forming my own political party. What will happen to you? You will be grabbed, and the best case, your fingernails will get pulled out and you'll be beaten half to death. That's the best you can hope for. That's not my opinion. They mass murdered 3,000 young people in 2011 in the south of the country, and even Iranian generals were saying they way overreacted. Now that's normal for Assad. All right, they're gangsters par excellence. You've got to stop taking sides in this and just look objectively at what's going on. They're grinding Syria to dust. How many times did your gurus tell you it's over, it's over? Putin saved us. Putin saved nothing. They're grinding it to dust. ISIS has four-wheel drives and AK-47s, but with full air superiority and all their high-tech laser-guided bombs and endless ground-to-ground missiles, they still can't defeat it. It's still raging on. Because the job is to grind it to dust, totally destroy it, give Israel the excuse to come into the region by pulling Iran all the way to the border, who's going, we're going to kill all the Jews, we're going to bring down 80,000 missiles, Hezbollah's there. All right, so Netanyahu's going to look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, they build up the weapons stash, ready to go, all free, handed to them by the United States taxpayers, hope you're happy, and then they start. 1 minute they're going to get lobbed, all these missiles. Remember, the F-35's grounded. Oh my goodness. Let's give a little opening for Iran's proxy forces to move around thinking they're not being watched. All right, it's a scam. This is how intelligence plays it. They've got billion-dollar budgets. They're very good at it. All right, and then, Israel's all vulnerable. And stupid dumbass Hezbollah and Nasrallah and the Iranian proxy forces are going to go, yes, the Al-Quds force, soon we will liberate Jerusalem. They believe it. I was there. I was listening to them going, you fucking kidding me? You're going to get fucking slaughtered, you dumb fuck. That's why I left. Tried to explain to you why I left Iran. I'm getting out of here. Watch Iran get creamed, but they're not going to attack Iran directly. They're just going to use it as an excuse to head right on into Syria, into Iraq, all the way to the Euphrates, Greater Israel. Then they get hold of the oil fields, the gas fields of Syria, and they have more independence. They have more materials they can use now. Now they have even more money they can make. But the point is to be independent. It's not about money. It's about energy independence, and it's about literal space and transferring the US high technology sector. It's vital. You need to understand that. You have the Pentagon budget, We'll get into that before. We're going to wind this up soon. I'm going to show you how I can link this fellow. This is Putin's mate. This is the Roger Stone for Vladimir Putin, all right? This guy, Vadakov Surkov, all right? He's from the theatre. I'm just going to play this very short extract from Adam Curtis's brilliant hypernormalization. We can link this guy all the way back to the Trump campaign. This is the same guy. His claim to fame was Surkov came from the theatre and he was setting up fake opposition groups for Putin. But the funny thing was, not only was he setting them up, neo-Nazis, nationalists, liberals, and making, and they were running around and everyone thought there was a vibrant democracy or vibrant election. There was no election. It was all fake. But he then informed people they were doing that. Why? It was a psychological warfare. It fucked with people's heads so much, everyone just wanted to opt out. What's real and what's fake? They are doing the same thing to the United States right now. This came out of Soviet-era Russia. The KGB, FSB boys that are running it. The students of Yuri Andropov. The arch KGB spy, which the famous character Carla is based on in the John le Carré novels, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Go and watch it. The old series and the new one with Gary Oldman. Watch it. That's what's happened. We can link Surkov back all the way into that group. Seriously, watch this. You'll see who this guy is and you'll understand.
Had been exposed as dangerous and destructive.
You're going to understand all these fake
Russia,
groups, the
there was a
Proud
group of
Boys,
men
the
who had seen
left-wing,
how this
right-wing,
very lack of belief in
Antifa.
politics and dark uncertainty about the future could work to their advantage.
Remember
What
Jones,
they'd done
World War
was turn
III, World War
politics into a
III.
strange theatre, where nobody knew what was true or what was fake any longer. They were called political technologists.
This is Roger
They were the
Stone.
key figures behind President Putin. They had kept him in power, unchallenged, for 15 years. Some of them had been dissidents back in the 1970s and had been powerfully influenced by the science fiction writings of the Strugatsky brothers. 20 years later, when Russia fell apart after the end of communism, they rose up and took control of the media. And they used it to manipulate the electorate on a vast scale. For them, reality was just something that could be manipulated and shaped into anything you wanted it to be. But then a technologist emerged who
This
went
guy,
much
watch
further,
this.
and his ideas would become central to Putin's grip on power. He was called Vladislav Surkov. Surkov came originally from the theatre world, and those who have studied his career say that what he did was take avant-garde ideas from the theatre and bring them into the heart of politics. Surkov's aim was not just to manipulate people, but to go deeper and play with and undermine their very perception of the world, so they are never sure what is really happening. Surkov turned Russian politics into a bewildering, constantly changing piece of theatre. He used Kremlin money to sponsor all kinds of groups, from mass anti-fascist youth organisations to the very opposite, neo-Nazi skinheads. And liberal human rights groups who then attacked the government.
Sound familiar?
Surkov
Antifa.
even backed whole political parties that were opposed to President Putin. But the key thing was that Surkov then let it be known that this was what he was doing, which meant that no one was sure what was real or what was fake in modern Russia. As one journalist put it, it's a strategy of power that keeps any opposition constantly confused.
Sound familiar?
Ceaseless shape-shifting that is unstoppable because it is indefinable.
Sound familiar? Yeah.
Meanwhile, real power was elsewhere, hidden away behind the stage, exercised without anyone seeing it.
You get it? That's hypernormalization. You've got to watch Adam Curtis, BBC. It's mainstream, but he does excellent work. Also, all watched over by machines of loving grace. Oh my God, he's good. Watch everything he does. It's mainstream stuff, but you'll get it. I want to show you something, how we can link this mob dad. No anger up, represent. Sorry, it's a private joke. In touch with some old friends. Now, John Swin's done this. It's graphic designer. It's brilliant. Wolf's Herder, you won't know what it is. He was intimately involved. Pollard, he's a huge link. University of Chicago, Rand Corporation, Council for National Policy, Frank Gaffney Jr., John Bolton, American Enterprise Institute, Project for the New American Century, Douglas Fife, Richard Pearl, all the neocons, Leo Strauss, the founder, Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz, it's Dov Zakheim. We can link it even into Zadokov Surkov himself, Roger Stone, Council on Foreign Relations. They're all surrounding Trump. You gotta wake up. You gotta stop. You gotta look at Trump. All right, he's a piece of shit who works for Russia and Israel. He really, really, really does, but it's all right. He doesn't even know. He thinks he's so clever. He had to borrow $10 million. Does a billionaire have to borrow $10 million for his campaign? He's not a billionaire. He's lucky to be worth a few hundred million. He's just a front man for this Trump Tower stuff. It's all Russia, Israel, drug money laundering. That's all it is, right? He's from the New York, New Jersey casino drug money launderers. He's a front man. He's an actor for the World Wrestling Federation, for crying out loud. If you need anything more on that, please watch Alex Jones Admits Trump a Product of Army Intelligence. Watch it. It's a good video. It should have 500,000 views, and probably does, really. They suppress it. Google is protecting Alex Jones and co. You will work it out. Ah, man. It's big. That's why you get this, rape kids. That's Velikov-Surkov. Jews rape kids, all right? That's Velikov-Surkov from Putin transferring that crap into the United States. And who's there? Dr. Steve Pachenik. His job was to overthrow governments, for crying out loud. That's what he did with Kissinger. He was there signing everything. He was there. He is the common link along with this crew. Thank you, John Swin. Alfred Walseder, Rand Corporation, Austro-Hungarian Jewish descent, protege of Abram Walt at Columbia University, professor of political science at the University of Chicago. Silvermaster Spiring, Major Jordan's diaries, the Fulbright Committee hearings, Joseph McCarthy. It's going to have to be rehabbed. This is big. Stick with us and support us. Stop giving money to the liars. We have given this stuff free of charge. Free of charge. To the likes of James Corbett and all the rest. They won't touch it. Because the money's in Trump and Putin. That's where all the cash is, baby. You got to go to Talpiot Talk. Joseph set this up. He's a family man. John Swin works. These people are all busy working for a damn living. And support our work. Go fund us. We're getting this set up properly. They took my Patreon account. None of the buttons would work. They wrecked my Bitcoin stuff and my Ethereum wallet. No money would come through. We've got to fix all that. We're going to get organised, man. We are getting organised. Trust me, we are getting organised slowly. The next video is going to be, it's not going to be the whole story, it's going to be a big chunk of what I've just explained to you now. It's going to have high-res graphics, lots of effects, some humour, musical soundtrack. It's going to be at least an hour just for this series. It's so big. The reason I want to get it done is, the sooner the better, quite frankly, before the elections. Support our work! I've got 15,000 subscribers. 1,000 people can't put in $10 each. Go fund me. We'll get flyers. Look at these flyers. I want to show you some flyers. This is what John Swin does. We want to print these up by the tens of thousands and you go and hand them out. Greatest ally or greatest threat. Israel has sold us out to China. You should be out every military shopping centre or anywhere where all the military congregate, the cafes or by the military base, being very careful, being very polite and handing these out to the military personnel. To your security. You've got to find those sweet spots. The military, man, they've already talking. What if they're killed? What if a plane load of American technicians or something goes down? And it's because of technology that American technology handed to Israel, then Israel sells it to Russia and China. These are avenues you must go with. What about all you Bitcoin boys? Go with Talpiot Talk. Support us. Give us lots of money. We want to make a difference. We're committed, man. We're not here to make, well, yeah, the more money, the better. I'm sick of these clowns online making fortunes. James Corbett makes a minimum of $1,000 a week with his videos. Minimum. How much do you think they're all making on their monetized channels and their Patreon accounts? How easy it is to control these people. If I made a $5,000 donation, or by golly gosh, they'll be answering my questions real quick. They came to me and they were screaming at me, if you expose Putin, if you go after Putin, you're not getting any money. That was one person screaming at me. Literally overnight, I went from 500 to 50. It was like that. 24 hours. Just stopped dead. That's where the money is. They're being paid off, these fucking low-life pieces of shit. You need to work it out. America, what was it called? The AIM, A-I-M. I can't remember, intelligence, whatever it is. They've even done some stuff on it. It's not enough. You've got to push this night and day and understand the issue. Understand it. And give us the money we need, for crying out loud. It's very frustrating, to say the least. Thank you, as an excellent. You can go and get that off Joseph's site. That's Vertikov Surkov, Roger Stone. They're making these fake Antifa, all these nutcases shooting up meth. That's all Dr. Steve Pachenik. That's what he does for a living. He's a psychological warfare officer. He overthrows governments. Do you understand? You're being set up. We can guess why. I actually think, ironically, it's going to turn out the right way. Why? Not because of Donald Trump. Because of these fuckwits via the military, via Mattis. It's Mattis. Look, I had a vision. You can laugh at me. Oh, you had a vision. What a thing. I'm telling you, I just went, and my sixth sense, never wrong. That's a big thing to say. Watch Mattis. I don't care about his past. I know enough about him to know. Give him the right information. He will tear Israel a new ass. He'll play a game. Because they've got to get Iran out of the region first. Then watch what happens. Let's see what happens. Keep pushing. Because pumpkinhead piece of shit, tip of the spear, $57 million a year, Alex Jones, is going to have to talk about this stuff. This is a creation. Patrick Little and the white nationalist crowd, Jews rape kids. Who do you think's funding that? We'll talk to Ariana about that very, very soon. Because part of the plan is to get as many Jews, particularly white Jews with PhDs in electrical engineering, run them out of the United States. It's 1937 again. It's different, but it's 1937. And they want to fill greater Israel with these people. And they've said it. Please come to Russia. Please come to Israel. We're waiting for you. We're ready to go. We're building the technology parks. I don't know what it'll take to wake Americans up and get them angry. Anyway, let's watch this. Corker, listen. This is about the Pentagon auditing itself.
We all watch us kill people remotely in Mosul and other places with people from far away commanding drones, and it's remarkable that we're able to do things like that. DOD has the capacity to turn entire countries into craters, has all kind of cyber capabilities. Again, you're here, you're the messengers, we're not speaking necessarily to you at all. How in the world is it that in 2018, with all the massive capabilities that the Pentagon has, this is the first time the Pentagon is able to conduct an audit? What is going on with...
Would you like me to tell you what's going on? Because if they do a fucking audit, they're going to find trillions of dollars missing gone to Israel. That's why. All that money, all that tech. They're walking along, okay, 40 B-2 bombers. Why do I only see 38? Where's the 40? That's the sort of things they're doing. We know Mattis and a few others push for that. There's only one problem with that. You know who's doing the audit? King of it? MITRE. MITRE. It's not a Saudi company. It's filled with Jews. It's just a Saudi front company who was intimately involved in 9/11. Promise Software. It's mind-blowing how big this is, man. It's mind-blowing. Just remember this one. This is how they legislated it. The United States-Israel Energy Cooperation. Findings. Congress finds that it is in the highest national security interest of the United States to develop covered energy sources. The State of Israel is a steadfast ally. It's just ridiculous of the United States. The special relationship between the United States and Israel is manifested in a variety of cooperative scientific research and development programs, such as the United States Binational Science Foundation. That was the first, 1973, under Kissinger. And guess who was there? Pachenik and Roger Stone. Not literally signing, they were in there at the same time, Nixon and Kissinger, setting up China and setting these up. This is a huge plan. It's huge. the United States-Israel Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation. These programs have made possible many scientific... Anyway, blah. Go and read it for yourself. Just go and read it. It just tells you. And this is law. It's law. So when you went up with the BDS movement, the Boycott, Divest, Sanctions movement, and you found states were legislating against it, well, they legislate because of this. You have to hand over your tech. You're not allowed to boycott Israel. Oh, man, it's big. It's big. The Senate hearing committees, and Fulbright, they named Israel, the ADL, and then they shot Kennedy 6 months later. Now you know why. Now you know why. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's watch this. Russia is removing the US from the Middle East, long-term Soviet-era strategic planning. This is all to do with the Belt and Road Initiative. Man, this video is going to be huge. Watch this.
But Putin is going to talk about his new weapons, and then a guy's going to make a comment that basically Russia and Iran are going to take over the Middle East. Watch this.
И более того, мы развиваем свой ядерный комплекс сдерживания. Как вы знаете, недавно провели испытания новых систем баллистического оружия. В позапрошлом году успешно проведены испытания таких боевых комплексов, которых пока нет, и вряд ли раньше нас появятся на вооружении других стран мира.
We could see the world in 5 or 10 years when the Middle East is dominated by Iran, with Russia in background. When Americans are pushed out, humiliated, kicked.
Indeed.
That was 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Indeed, sir. Now you understand why Iran, they were just diverting me, taking me to the ski fields, showing me my new wife. Don't talk about this, Brendon. Of course not. Of course not. So, in summing up, we started with Edward Snowden. He's now going to be talking to Israel via video link on a closed session to ex-Mossad and intelligence people. Really? We know what he's not going to talk about. He's not going to talk about the Intel patents. We're now 12 official hardware backdoors into the Intel processor family and the advanced micro devices, AMD, now totally owned and run and built by China, filling it with backdoors. And they actually name the patents. What that means is it's patented. It's not a flaw. Well, no, it's not a flaw, but it's patented. They patented this deliberately, and it was done in Israel. Microsoft, Bill Gates, we love Israel. And they've written all the Windows 10 code. Trusted installer, look it up. Trusted installer. That's what it's called. That's what does your update. They don't need all this NSA malware. When you update your Apple computer, phone, Samsung, whatever, they just install it at the corporate level. They are the intelligence community. It's Israel. There's Bill Gates. When Mike's known for many things, he's best known for Windows. For years, rumours have swirled for years that major parts of the operating system were developed in Israel, something the company has confirmed, although it was never specified just which components of Windows are Israeli. You need to read between the lines of these stories. I'm good at that. And they're hello. The Fulbright hearing committees, the Israeli Lobby Archive, Institute for Research, Middle East Policy. You know the trouble with some of these places? They've got so much stuff in there, it's overwhelming. You need to go and watch my videos and some of the things I've done. I'm going to show you one thing I did. I know there's a bit of stuff there, but you need to have a look. You need to watch Israel's secret weapon, the Telpert program. It goes into my case a bit. All right, it's got 205,000 views, and Google seems to be pleased that it's running. But when I was actually going after Alex Jones and Pachenik, before I'd even finished typing my comments on YouTube, I was logged out. It happened all the time. Logged out. So it was almost like Google was saying, look, please expose Israel, Brendon, but don't go after Pachenik and Alex Jones and Trump. I could tell you about 50 other things, so I don't want to say it, but I'm going to have to say it. We've got to stick with Trump. This is the way the intelligence community do it, by the way. They'll slap you around and then tell you, oh, well, I actually agree with my opposition, go with Trump. But here's why. You've got no choice right now. You don't have a choice. I actually agree with Mike Adams. I hate to say it, but I'm agreeing with Mike Adams. I really like the Health Ranger guy, but it's like when he's with Pumpkinhead, it's really frustrating. It's like with Mr. Dr. Group, I get his stuff. Thank you to the donors. I have to buy health stuff to keep myself going. But Mike Adams is correct. At the federal level, you're going to have to vote for Trump. As long as it's Hillary Clinton, I mean, that's not an option. All right. Anyway, it doesn't matter because it's both sides of the same coin. Stick with Trump. You've got to get active and start going to your military. So everywhere Mattis goes in the Pentagon, there's a young colonel going, excuse me, General Mattis, yeah, good sir, I love and respect you, sir. Yeah. By the way, have you seen this? Israel is working with China. China's the enemy, and Mattis is probably going to go, yeah, I know. We'll fix that later. I believe this is going to happen. That's my belief. You don't have to believe it. And in the videos, I'll explain why I believe it. You need to also speculate and be careful with people like me or anyone else that comes to give you advice. Okay, that you don't know who I am. You don't know I'm a spy, but you don't know I'm not a spy or some elaborate hoax. But watch my stuff, and it's pretty damn elaborate if it's true, let me tell you. I'm definitely handled. There are people who came to me, high-level people. Okay, I'm being handled and coddled and cut off at the right time and then allowed through and nudged and winked and, you know, I got this room, it came first on the list. You wouldn't believe what I'm next to, but there's all the Australian consulate staff, retired Australian Federal Police are just across the road. That's not a fucking accident. Sorry. But anyway, watch Israel's secret weapon, the Telpiot program, please. Israeli drones worldwide, I love it. We're going to watch an extract. What I did, ringing the Department of Homeland Security. Watch Alex Jones and Mitch Trump, a product of Army intelligence. It's a good video, heavily suppressed. But I'm still saying for now, you just got to support Trump. Remember, if I could vote, I would be. And it all affects everyone around the world. But you better get in and pressure via the military and get on that pumpkinhead piece of garbage and start making him say Israel. Make him say it. You can't ignore this information. It's just go to Telpiot Talk. Please. Joseph's collected hundreds of articles right here on Telpiot Talk. Israel's world order, how tiny Israel dominates globally. Israel's high technology world domination aspirations. Look, these guys aren't professional writers. There's a few problems with their writing, but it's pretty good stuff. Young Cheyenne, he's 18 years old, so we've got Iranian Shia, we've got Sunnis, we've got communists, we've got Christians, okay, we've got Jews. This is good. Everyone's getting together because they're going to shove us in that smart city. Technology designed in Israel, manufactured in China. Unit 8200, Telpiot founded, very important. Telpiot is the corporate. They're making huge corporations under these Israeli military intelligence training programs, and they're putting them in universities. They're physics lecturers. They're in key spots. I wonder who else would find in key spots within, say, the ADL or APAC or in the Congress or Senate who was trained under the Telpiot program. One person I do believe who was none other than good old Daniel Lewin, the first man to die on 9/11, the guy Akamai, which is the algorithm that distributes the internet load. Very important to understand. It's in the Telpiot program, Israel's secret weapon, my video. Go and it's all laid out for you. It's all laid out on this webpage. And it's getting better and more refined all the time. Yes, sometimes Joseph loses his cool, we all do. We all say things that we maybe shouldn't say given the level this needs to go to. But good people here, and they all work, man. They got wives and kids, and you know they aren't just sitting around all day posting, making thousands of dollars. They're making hardly anything. You need to support our work. Support us. I have 15,000 subscribers. What? Come on, man. But I agree. I want to get it simple. I want to get the Bitcoin and that set up again and make sure it's working. Remember the legislation. Remember Rabbi Dov Zakheim, Booz Allen Hamilton. That was good old Edward Snowden's boss at Booz Allen Hamilton, the man who lost 2.8 trillion, remember? Just before 9/11. All these subcontractors to the NSA, they're all Israeli-run companies. Michael Chertoff, the dual national Israeli citizens, for crying out loud. When's the movie coming out? You must watch How Israel Rules. Just watch. It was unfinished. This was meant to be the 40-minute introduction. It was the first draft. It needed to be radically redone. And in the end, I was so pissed off. They were hacking the crap out of me. I was sick of it begging for money. I was having a bit of a meltdown until I got my good New York Jewish therapist. And I had to stop doing stuff with Mike Herzog because he was getting hammered. We'd get cut off all the time. Either the phone would work or the laptop would crash. And I was like, I can't deal with it anymore. I'm going crazy. I need a break. That's why I had to stop this. But we're going to restart and get into it. Remember Bird Energy or the Bird Foundation, please. It's really important. Remember all those software flaws, hardware flaws, Windows. Is Edward Snowden going to talk about that? No, he's not going to talk about it. James Corbett, really graceful. Blackstone Intelligence Report. People said he promised he will. Were you going to mention it once for 10 seconds, then move on? This is the key. But you see, the people that are making money with 100,000 plus subscribers and above, their job is not to tell you this stuff. They don't want to research stuff. They want to see what's trending because their job is to make money and have a successful YouTube channel. That's what Adam Green said. I want a successful YouTube channel. I realised I don't want to work with that guy, man. Anyone that's got that sort of attitude is going to be trouble. And I've already seen it. I told him stay away from that fuckwit Patrick Little. What did he do? I said, I don't want to work with him. I said he can appear on his show. Do not want to work with Adam Green. No way. It's another story. And Christopher Berlin, he's not taking this up. This is central to 9/11, and to understand it, he's the key man. I want to get him funding. I had a go at him on his thing. When are you going to talk about this and stop saying that Putin's saving Syria? What's Berlin going to do when all this finally breaks out? How's he going to explain his stupidity? He's getting paid off to not say it. Berlin is getting paid to be a useless 2-cent dog and pony show dick with 50 people at his talks, while David Icke can get 6,000 people at £30 a head. And no one thought, boy, we better do some advertising and marketing and hand out some flyers and get organised. No, let's just be a fucking joke. Mike Herzog will be sitting next to Mike Adams at a big conference soon. And I'm praying Mike's going to have a word in Mr. Adams' ear about this stuff. I'm going to wrap it up. It's just, my teeth grind the legislation. This is just a quick rundown on what Edward Snowden's not going to tell you. This is why I'm in a movie, ladies and gentlemen. I have to leave this country in another month and pray they stamp my damn passport. I'm taking on China, who run this damn country, let me assure you. We're hoping that's changing under Dr. Mahathir. Let me tell you. Let's now watch what I did. I'm very proud of what I did here. All right, I was under a lot of pressure. I was sitting in the hotel room thinking I've got to come up with things. I've got to do something different. I'm not just going to find out what's trending so that it'll get put up by Google or YouTube and get some views, which is what they do. I've got to do something original. So in Israeli Drones Worldwide, which I urge you to watch, is a great video. I really enjoyed it considering the pressure I was under and the crap I was going through to make it. It was actually another hour longer. I had to chop it to pieces. But it gives you a good overview. People have said, man, Brendon, you've opened my eyes. Experienced players have said you've opened my eyes. Now in this, I ring the Department of Homeland Security. I'm going to play the full 10 minutes. You've got to start doing stuff like this you've got to start getting out on the street, engaging in politics. You've got to engage with the military is vital. We'll send these to you. John Swin. We'll send these to you. You start handing these out. I can't hand these out here, dude. I can't do it. At the very least, I'm going to find my visa. As I leave, they're going to say, don't come back. They're just going to whisper to me, Mr. O'Connell, don't come back. And they're going to turn around and walk off. That's what's going to happen. I can't hand these out. I'll be doing it myself, trust me. I am going to do other things, but I can't do this. I am on a tourist visa in a country that's in a very delicate position at the Straits of Malacca, a very key geostrategic sweet spot right next to China. The Chinese intelligence have dominated the Malaysian politics and business class and compromised it with Israel under Najib Razak and the 1MDB stuff. Bad. Hopefully Dr. M's going to fix it all. But I'm just trying to tell you the things I've got to think about, and it's not whether I'm living at home with mum and dad or got my, or seeing what's trending so I can make more money. I'm trying to give you the truth. It's important. You can't have someone tell you, oh my God, we're all going to die. I don't want to talk about that. That's too hard. O'Connell's mad. What are you Bitcoin boys? Come on. Israel's going to be, how many huge millions of dollars of Bitcoin's gone missing? I wonder who did that. All those Intel flaws. Do you want to lose money, the God mode? Do you want to lose money? Because that's what's coming. Is Edward Snowden going to talk about that? Why is Edward Snowden doing a closed talk with ex-Israeli intelligence? Why? Will he be heading to Israel soon? What's going on? Was Edward Snowden an Israeli intelligence operative? Serious question. Serious question. Given what we know, is that so unreasonable? We're going to look something up. We're going to look something up. Where is it? I'm here, bookmarks. Let's look something up. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to say it. Edward Snowden was an agent for Israeli intelligence. I'm sorry, what's happening? I want to search the bookmarks. Yes? Alright. Are you ready? Soviet, Russia, no. You've seen this before. If you accept, which I do, there's dozens of these articles. Israel's former Soviet immigrants transform adopted country. Russian-speaking Jews who arrived the past 20 years have integrated little but influenced everything from culture to politics. Technology, you name it. They've landed the F-35. They're all Russian technicians. If we accept the stuff that the incredible facts and figures coming out about Soviet-level penetration, KGB penetration of Israel. Israel to lure Soviet Jews from Germany. Word News, The Guardian. Suspected Soviet cell wrote Reagan's long-term strategic. It was some of the excellent stuff out of the Executive Intelligence Review. We had good old Marcus Wolf talking about Israel. He considered moving to Israel. You're going to find the penetration of these communist Soviet eras just everywhere. So if we accept that Israel did 9/11, we're going to have to accept something else, aren't we? Once you understand the takeover of Israel by Russians, then you're going to have to accept that Russia did 9/11. And you're going to have to accept the possibility that Edward Snowden is a long-term Israeli intelligence asset, or he was handled to do what he did. I suspect he may have been handled by the same mega group that's operating today with Bronfman and Steve Pieczenik and Roger Stone. Hasn't hurt Russia. Do you know there's only been 3% of his documents have been released? Did you know that? Just 3%. But Russia's got it all of it. What's in there? What's the relationship now between Russia and Israel? Is it because Putin has all the dirt on Israel and is extorting Israel because he's got all that stuff from Snowden? This is just another possibility. We need to speculate about this. Has he? Do you know the Moscow archives are opened in 92 and it says a lot about what went on, about all the Jews in Russia and the Bolshevik Revolution? He's got that to hang over Netanyahu? Maybe. Who's running who? Speculation. You need to think about these things because James Corbett ain't going to tell you. I resent James Corbett. I do. He makes a lot of money by not telling you the truth. He knows this stuff. We send it time and again. Giving it here, you take it. Not interested. Because he's about making money. These people are all about making money. They're not about telling you the truth. You can tell the truth and make money. You can do it. People want it. They crave it. So you're going to have to accept. Israel did 9/11 and Israel and Russia have been working together a long time. It's all part of the Belt and Road Initiative. This is a long-term Soviet-era strategic planning, Stalin Belt and Road Initiative, Pan-Eurasian Initiative, get rid of NATO. This is all Council Foreign Relations or Communism for Rothschild. You're understanding it now to make Israel the center of the world. Remember the cloverleaf thing we did from the 15th century? This has been a long-term plan. If Israel did 9/11, then aspects of Russia did 9/11. Maybe even China. Christopher Berlin's going to look like a fuckwit. It's not coming out. It is out. Putin works with Netanyahu. Berlin's, just be a man, swallow your pride, Berlin, and go, yeah, I was a fuckwit. Okay, I was taking it. Fine. Just say it and let's move forward. It's okay. I've been an idiot 500 times. God. But you little precious people, who's paying your bills, Christopher? Who's paying you to be a fuck-up? Get 50 people at your events. Something very, very wrong there. No one thought, hey, the Arab Muslim American community are some of the richest people in the world. You know the richest people in the world are Palestinians and Lebanese, Saudi, GCC. What, man? Malaysia even. Why wouldn't you do it? I want to organise conferences here for Berlin. I want to help Berlin. Berlin doesn't want to help himself because maybe he's paid not to help himself. Maybe he's paid to be a fuck-up and talk about missiles on planes, which is just ridiculous. Maybe he's paid to. Maybe he's paid to do such excellent research and then fuck it up. No one thought to go and get good funding, so he has a permanent staff of 2 and business class flights everywhere. So he talks in front of 5,000 people, not 50. This is absurd, man, and it's time you all woke up and said, you know what, I'm not satisfied with this. If the stakes are that high, the collapse is going, we're all doomed, but you don't behave like it. You seem to want to swallow any shit that comes your way. I just sometimes can't work it out. So you know what I did one day? I did this. I rang the Department of Homeland Security. 10 minutes. Israeli drones worldwide.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer.
A manager.
There's nothing stopping you doing this.
I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A student.
A mom.
A concerned citizen.
We're all part of your community.
Every day brings surprises.
Flat tire.
Midday traffic.
Out of control Jewish neocons.
There's always something unexpected.
And honestly, that's fine.
It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty.
Something you know shouldn't be there.
Or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia.
Or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
We all play a role in keeping our communities safe.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Hello. It is.
Okay, mate, skip a bit, but you get the point.
July. It's 10:09 p.m., which means in Washington, D.C.
Please hang up and dial 911. National Security. Press 4. To report.
Let's report these Zionist terrorists.
Israeli drones worldwide. Watch the whole thing.
Let's go. Let's rock.
We're trying to get
Investigations tip line.
G'day, my name.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. What would you like to report?
My name is Brendon O'Connell. I'm an Australian citizen. I'm calling from Malaysia. I've had previous interactions with the Australian government, including the head of counter-terrorism in Western Australia, Inspector Barry Shelton. It's regarding Israeli spying and passing on US high technology to Russia.
Well, you can do it online and send it to us, and then we can send it to the right people. I mean, it could go to an attaché. It could go, to headquarters, in Washington. If you just go, sounds like you have a lot of information. If you go to www.ice.gov, ice.gov, above that,
report crimes. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden up there. So see the email. So
you can do this.
Email,
Nothing's stopping you.
You can submit it. I mean, you could tell me over the phone, but it sounds pretty complicated. I mean, I don't know how I'll do it.
I think for the record, just for you, this issue has been around for some time. Phil Giraldi used to have lunch with a friend of mine. Phil Giraldi was the former counterintelligence officer attached to the Turkish embassy. And Phil Giraldi's on C-SPAN. He's quite well known.
One other very good reason why Israel should not receive billions of dollars in military assistance annually is its persistent espionage against the United States. The existence of a large-scale Israeli spying effort at the time of 9/11 has been widely reported, incorporating Israeli companies in New Jersey and Florida, as well as hundreds of art students nationwide. 5 Israelis from one of the companies were observed celebrating against the backdrop of the Twin Towers going down. Israel, where government and business work hand in hand, has obtained significant advantage by systematically stealing American technology with both military and civilian applications. The U.S. developed technology is then reverse engineered and used by the Israelis to support their own exports. Sometimes when the technology is military in nature and winds up in the hands of an adversary, the consequences are serious. Israel has sold advanced weapon systems to China that are believed to incorporate technology developed by American companies, including the Python 3 air-to-air missile and the Delilah cruise missile. There is evidence that Israel has also stolen Patriot missile avionics to incorporate into its own Arrow system, and that it used U.S. technology obtained in its Lavi fighter development program, which was funded by U.S. taxpayers, to help the Chinese develop their own J-10. The reality of Israeli spying is indisputable. I might cite the names of Jonathan Pollard, Ben Ami Kaddish, Stuart Nozet, and Larry Franklin as spies for Israel have been caught, but they are only the tip of the iceberg. Israel always features prominently in the annual FBI report called Foreign Economic Collection and Economic and Industrial Collection. The 2005 report states, Israel has an active program to gather proprietary information within the United States. These collection activities are primarily directed at obtaining information on military systems and advanced computing applications that can be used in Israel's sizable armaments industry. It adds that Israel recruits spies, uses electronic methods, and carries out computer intrusion to gain the information. A 1996 Defense Investigative Service report noted that Israel has great success stealing technology by exploiting the numerous co-production projects that it has with the Pentagon. It says, placing Israeli nationals in key industries is a technique utilized with great success. A General Accounting Office examination of espionage directed against American defense and security industries described how Israeli citizens residing in the U.S. had stolen sensitive technology to manufacture artillery gun tubes, obtained classified plans for reconnaissance systems, and passed sensitive aerospace designs to unauthorized users.
Assure me, many of the technicians, particularly the electrical engineering and really PhDs in all sorts of areas and engineers are actually Russians, many of whom are not even Jewish. They don't even identify as Jewish at all. But the last 20 years, the Israeli government has been encouraging them to come in, and they are basically running the Israeli high technology sector. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but the most advanced CPU fabrication factory in the world, Intel, is actually in Israel, in Eragot, Israel. And this basically, Russians have the full run of the place, considering that Russia is on selling all sorts of stuff to places like, even though it's quite public, how actual government departments, how woefully underinformed they are about the close relationship between Russia and Israel over the last 20 years. And that literally, you've just dumped the F-35, one of the most advanced multi-role aircraft, into Israel's arms, and now the technicians running over that in places like Elbit Systems, which are modifying the helmet for the F-35, they're modifying the screens for the F-35, its multifunction displays are actually populated by Russian technicians, and they brag that most of them don't learn Hebrew, don't
I'm about to be cut off. That's Malaysia doing
backwards
that.
And forwards from Israel to Russia. And the One Belt, One Road agreement that's been agreed to between...
Yeah, it was cut off. All right, let's keep going. That was Malaysia cutting me off. As I said, do not talk about China and the Belt and Road. Well, we're going to talk about it. Because James Corbett ain't going to do it. This is another 5 minutes. Just watch this. If you don't get the leverage this gives you, I don't know what will.
Mr. Lee, how should we understand this innovative, comprehensive partnership that's
remember the Bird Foundation now? Remember
how should we interpret this? What does that mean? China's relation with Israel?
Technology transfer.
I think that
Israel's amazing. All this technology.
Innovative,
this is where it's all heading.
Comprehensive partnership is exactly represented the Chinese relations with Israel, as the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, said. And again, that the Israel is the innovation center of the world, and China is the marketing, and also has a huge, production capabilities. If China's this kind of production capabilities, and also the marketing capability, and combined with the innovation, which really has the advantage.
Right.
That would make both, the economic very, complementary.
That is in Tel Aviv. Now we are joined by Lionel Friedfeld, who is the CEO of Israel Asian Fund and also co-author of the book Israel and China from Silk Road to Innovation Highway. So this couldn't be more appropriate question to address to you, Mr. Friedfeld. What about the demand from both sides for one another in terms of technology export and also investment?
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much. First of all, it is a historical, meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu We have to understand that there was past, visit of former President Shimon Peres, also Ehud Olmert, that actually had some family coming from Harbin in China. So the relationship between Israel and China is really close. It's around $12 billion of trade, and Israel is one of the largest partners in China regarding, in front of the United States and European Union. So it's very important on the trade side.
Lower the barrier for your technology export, even though you have an ally called the United States. China and Israel, on the other hand, is asking China, saying, well, you know what? Please do not limit the capital investment in the technology in Israel, for example, coming from China. And only that would make the technological advancement further progress. So what about demands from both sides?
Yes, you're completely right. There is two angles to the Israel-China relationship. The innovation angle. Today, China needs innovation to catch up with their competitors, American competitors, Japanese, South Korean competitors. And today, the name of the game, the battlefield in between China and the US, reaching to Israel innovation, because Israel is very strong in innovation.
He's saying, oh yeah, Trump's put on all these sanctions and we're going to sit there and we're going to get all the goodies. He's bragging. Go and shoot him, Mattis. Get Jaya and put a bullet in this guy's head. He'll be traveling to America very frequently. What's wrong with America? Come on!
A lot of R&D centers. So the battlefield today is named Israel.
The battlefield today is in Israel, right? Man, I can't. Sometimes I don't want to watch stuff because I'm like grinding my teeth. So let's shut it down. I thought that was pretty innovative, don't you think? Ringing, recording, emailing, getting those flyers, man. Please go to Telpiot Talk. Hundreds of articles all collected and laid out for you. It's all laid out for you. Laid out. This needs to have, 100,000 views a week. We need funding, so we don't have to think about money. I don't want to think about it. John Wilson sent me some. I just got a high-res Logitech webcam, so it's a long story. I had to raise the laptop up high and put boxes underneath it. I was sick of it. All right, hopefully me and John Wilson are still talking. He was a bit upset with me because I missed our appointment. John Wilson is now running the Pirate Party of Australia. Did you know that? Well, you do now. John Wilson is running the Pirate Party. That is out of Sweden. It's worldwide. It's all the geeks. It's the friends of Assange. They're now talking about this issue, people. Come on. Get moving, man. I'm tired. I wanted to be the guy, the clown that came on and said, over there is a fire. And the people like a James Corbett who do research and stuff would go, okay, the fire is on the 4th floor. It's this. I was waiting for them to fill in the details, deepen the research, make it more detailed, more broad. Never happened. 2 years, it hasn't happened. Nothing has happened. We have had to drag this issue, drag this out. 50,000 casualties for 100 feet of mud on the Somme in World War I. It's killed us. Well, we're making some headrows, God willing, we'll keep making them. It doesn't matter what happens. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep on doing it no matter what. Come on, America. Let's rock and let's make sure good old Edward Snowden, when he has his little closed session in Israel, talks about something. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all your help for the people who donate regularly. I named you in the last video. I appreciate it. Keep sending the money. I'm going to keep hustling. I want to thank my new therapist. I have to now go and watch Caroline Miss stuff on storytelling and looking after my inner children. I'll just downloading that on the phone. Or I could listen to Alex Jones. Oh, God, what a choice. Please see the linkages, Vodokov, Surkov. We can link it in. It's all coming in the video. Diane's doing great. She's freaking out. She says, Brendon, this goes so deep. He says, yeah, you don't say. Man, it's bad. You have been completely taken. I'm sorry, let's call it what it is. Communist Soviet era penetration. It started in 1870, the first wave, then 1917, 1919, the next wave. Same time, they're setting up Israel, all right? For Palestine, they're shifting to Palestine. All the prime ministers were all Polish and Russian communists. That's not a coincidence. And they built up the Bronfman's Nexium cult. Remember that? Bronfman's daughter. And who happened to be in that cult? Well, Roger Stone. Sex slavery and all sorts of goings on. And guess who else is in the sex club? Well, John Bolton. John Swin's done a great. Wolfsetter, professor. Oh, all linking in with the neocons, University of Chicago, linking in with the mega group, spying with Jonathan Pollard. This makes Jonathan Pollard look like Nothing. It's the biggest security breach in history. Thanks for watching. We're going to keep screaming, man. We believe in America. We want America to be moderately good again. All right, it ain't perfect. It was built on the foundation of ethnic cleansing of Native Americans to begin with. But whatever the faults of the past, we need America strong with a strong constitution, maintaining the pilot light of liberty and individual freedom. No matter what the rest of the world does, we need that pilot light. Come on, Americans, I believe in you. Stop telling me you want to leave, man. I want to get over there. You're in the fight. Let's get flyers happening. Let's engage with the military. Let's engage with the political class. Let's engage in information war. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now. Hold the first jumper laggy. Jump an ante. Oh, I'm going to go get something to eat. And I appreciate all the help with the people who put up with me. I do appreciate it. I hope you understand why. Thanks again.